say that there is one major factor that is driving the growth in e-payments that we see in Nigeria. However, there are a combination of powerful factors converging to drive this growth. The first I would mention is fintech innovation. We have seen very successful innovations from fintech players introducing user-friendly products. Some of these products are also very cost-effective and, like I said, very user-friendly. Customers can relate to these products, and this has driven their adoption. The next is the deliberate policy pushes that we've seen from the central bank, like the open banking framework. We've also seen them introduce different licenses like the payment service bank licenses for telcos. And the next is a shift in consumer behavior post-COVID. We've seen a very significant shift in consumer behavior to digital services since the COVID happened in 2019. A lot of consumers are now actioning payments using digital platforms that they were not using in the past. Before COVID, we saw a situation where a lot of merchants or traders were complaining about services like OPay not being credible or trustworthy because they didn't have physical structures that they could walk into. Now these platforms are doing significant numbers in terms of transaction value and volume. Also important to mention is infrastructure investments. The NIBS instant payments infrastructure that they introduced has also been able to facilitate very seamless payments for banks. We also have the collaboration between Zone and NIBS for deploying blockchain technology to ensure instant payments for POS services in Nigeria. Lastly, I think it's also important to mention that Nigeria has a very significant youthful population. 74% of Nigeria's population are under the age of 35, which makes them digital natives in terms of having the resources, manpower to recruit, to produce these innovations, to introduce new products, and also having the customer base of young people to adopt these products. So this combination of factors are some of the things that have driven the growth that we've seen so far. The trends in e-payments are slowly seeping into the informal economy. POS and agency banking solutions have driven adoption of digital financial services across underbanked areas, especially in areas where banking services are not accessible to the population. Also very important to mention is the fact that in 2024, Momo PSB recorded 18% year-on-year increase in revenue to 76 billion naira. Also, POS transactions 2024 reached 18 trillion naira, which is really significant. So we see a situation where we are not looking for a player who is better. The telcos are not necessarily better, but they offer an advantage in terms of their coverage. They are able to reach underserved areas which banks might not be able to reach, and they are also penetrating into businesses that banks might have not been able to onboard. We have a lot of small businesses who are now using POS to accept payments, as we can see across Nigeria. This is really simple. The biggest challenge that we're facing right now is data. The data accessible to people in the ecosystem is largely fragmented. We don't have enough data for people to build credit scores for their customers. And also, although the open banking framework is going to enable more access and increase the accessibility of this service to the population, but data represents a very significant gap. Once we're able to bridge the gap in data, we'll be able to provide better services to businesses. We see a situation where SME lending is going to be a very big component of the payment ecosystem. Based on findings from Nigeria Payments Reports, the embedded service that holds the greatest potential right now is embedded lending service for SMEs. And this is because we have a significant credit gap for SMEs in Nigeria. We see a situation where we'll be able to provide lending services through embedded finance to a lot of SMEs, through embedded solutions in logistics and also e-commerce. We also are envisaging that the other use cases that hold high potential are insurance and also payroll financing in gig economy and MSMEs that are not able to action this ordinarily without a third-party solution or third-party financial service provider. So we are looking at a situation where we would have embedded solutions on different platforms. Say a child deck, for example, you'll be able to have a buy now pay later option, and these are some of the evolving improvements that we're likely to see in embedded solutions. As of today, we see embedded insurance services when you are booking your airline tickets, and also we have some embedded solutions on the likes of OPay. You're able to take a loan, for example, and so on.